Saratoga.
Dust just settling after that stirring edition of the Coaching Club American Oaks. A live look in the Saratoga paddock. We're not done yet. 2 races remain on this stellar Saturday of thoroughbred racing. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports 2. This is Saratoga Live, trackside alongside handicapper Jonathan Kinchin, who spent his down hours hanging out with Flava Flav. I'm Lafitte Pinkai. We cannot discuss the CCA Oaks with our audience, just in case they haven't seen the race just yet. But we can't tell them it lived up to the billing.
So I can't tell them who won?
No, you can't tell them who won. They might not have seen it.
But what if I just tell them?
You're gonna spoil it.
Okay. I won't tell them that. I won't say that the horse won.
Yeah. They get to find out for themselves right here, right now. 110th running of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Counting Stars, even money favorite at post time. Frank Mirmati with the call to CCA Oaks.
And they're off in the Coaching Club American Oaks. And always a runner is sent hard out of the gate, and Counting Stars counters along the inside. Counting Stars goes to the front. Always a runner is in between horses. Zany is up and on the pace too, and some trouble. Dandona had to steady pretty hard and lost significant ground. Now 6 lengths off the lead as they get ready to swing on to the backstretch. Measure Who is off slowly is next. Miss Fulton Gal just outside of her, and another 4 to Nikon. 23 and 4 for the opening quarter mile. And Arad Ortiz Jr. has the Acorn winner. Counting Stars in control. Traveling very kindly on the front end. Leads it by a length and a half. Always a runner at the rails. Zany moves up, reclaims second, heading to the half-mile pole. It's another 2 lengths back to Dandona. The half went in 47 and 3. Measure is down at the rail. 3 clear of Miss Fulton Gal. And Nikon continues to trail. They're heading to the 3/8 pole. Counting Stars has been in front almost every step of the way, with Zany in second. Always a runner gets a cue at the rail. Measure is trying to get into the race with a wide bid, 3/4 in, 1:11 and 2. There's a hold at the rail for Always a Runner, and she confronts Counting Stars once again. These two hook up at the top of the stretch in a showdown at the Spa. Always a Runner, the Kentucky Oaks winner on the inside. Counting Stars going with her. These two head to head, and Counting Stars has another gear and opens up with authority. Counting Stars takes control of the division with a resounding victory in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Always a Runner held on.
Resounding is right. Statement performance. Counting Stars leaves them seeing stars in this Coaching Club American Oaks. Top of the stretch, the matchup we wanted to see, the matchup we were waiting for. Counting Stars, Always a Runner, Jonathan, shoulder to shoulder, and Counting Stars puts the Oaks winner away once again. Incredible performance. Mark Casse had her cranked up, ready to roll, and the Phasic tipped in. Winner Circle lead-in, brought to you by the 105th Saratoga sale of selected yearlings, August 10th and 11th. Where will you be?
A lot of people in that.
That's a
Winner's
lot. You
Circle.
win a race of that magnitude like that. For everybody wanting to wind up in the end of the afternoon. Counting Stars over Always a Runner. Wow. Counting Stars to the head of the class in the sophomore filly division.
Yeah, and she was impressive, right? I mean, Always a Runner looked like when she came up the inside, we were going to be back Kentucky Oaks Day, but that's not what happened. It wasn't Kentucky Oaks Day. It was a little bit more like Acorn Day, and she galloped away from there. That was very impressive. And like Frank said in his call, that she is the new leader in the division.
And fortunately, like, we couldn't hear, by the way, Acacia Clement joining us on the set, we couldn't hear your interview with Mark Casse shortly thereafter. Like, What do you say? What do you tell you?
He was so sporting, and Mark Casse often is like that. And he said, I think it's really good for racing. He said, I'm very happy we came out on top with Counting Stars getting the victory, but seeing her and always a runner throw it down in the stretch and one of those fillies pulling away is great for racing. We've been hyping up this rivalry, and they did exactly that. They were the two best of the division today. And I said, is it on to the Alabama? And he said, probably.
The next logical spot in that big picture conversation about how this impacts the chase for a 3-year-old filly title. Counting Stars, Jonathan, what does her win mean in the CCA Oaks as it pertains to the division?
Well, I mean, I think now she's it's another grade 1, right? And she's the big one. She's got 2 of them now. So she's definitely in the lead. But I will tell you this, if somehow always a runner can turn the tables and win the Alabama, now we've got a little bit of a battle on our hands for who could win that 3-year-old championship, because there'll be both of them winning 2 big grade 1s.
There's still time, Acacia. It's like a win in a playoff game, like a series, right? Yeah, the momentum goes back to Counting Stars' side, but yeah, between the races still ahead, whether it's the Alabama, end of the year Breeders' Cup Distaff, like nothing has been decided. We just have a clear-cut leader.
Absolutely. It's a leader as of now, really, because as you mentioned, you have races still to come. The Alabama, kind of one of those elite races for 3-year-old fillies still on the program. If they decide to take on older in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, which you'd imagine should all go well, both of these fillies would have that on their calendar. That's going to be one of the real keys, especially as they, as I said, have to take on older horses. I feel like the Kentucky Oaks holds an extra amount of weight as far as the championship is concerned, but now 2 Saratoga grade 1s, that's what's edged Counting Stars ahead.
End of the year, all roads leading to the Breeders' Cup Distaff, theoretically where championships are supposed to be decided. It's not the end-all, be-all, but like a final exam that does carry more weight. And the summer is still young. With the CCA Oaks behind us, right back at it next Saturday, Fox Saratoga Saturday, the Jim Dandy, the final prep towards the DraftKings Travers at the end of August. That Whitney, circle your calendars, Christophe Clement Turf, the Alabama and DraftKings Travers at the end of the meet. So much to unpack from Flavia Pratt's wild ride, from that epic Riders Up from Flava Flav. That was insanely good. And live racing still ahead. The 11th with horses in the paddock. You're looking at Moonlight Ready, 7-2 contender in this wide open sprint on grass for New York bred fillies and mares. That's coming up next. You're watching Saratoga Live.
The joy of traveling well is feeling at home, yet a million miles away from home. Discovering new flavors, or savoring the ones you already love. Not knowing what lies beyond the horizon, but knowing what matters most to you. This is the joy of traveling well. Oceana Cruises.
On this spectacular Saturday evening, coverage continues. Saratoga Live on FS2. 11th of 12 is next. Much more to recap regarding the CCA Oaks and the Vanderbilt. But first things first, we're looking at a contender in Moonlight Ready. In this turf sprint, fillies and mares, $105,000 purse. As we say hello to Megan Burgess, welcome her to the broadcast, standing by in the paddock. Megan.
What an incredible edition of the Coaching Club American Oaks we just witnessed, but we'll kick things off in this turf sprint with a physical standout that drew in off the also eligible list. That's the number 13 Oklahoma Smoke, and she's a smoke show. She is incredibly strong, I mean, well muscled, just her power. She is all turf, all sprinter, as she was initially campaigned on the dirt and then moved over to the synthetic. I am very enticed, especially at a price up there at 6-1. She just reads all of the power, that muscle mass behind that really propels them forward as effective sprinters. And she's surely showing all of that for her trainer, Adam Rice, who when he sends horses to Saratoga, they run, and you're getting a very generous price on a horse that did draw in and could have gone maybe unnoticed, but wow, was the words I could describe her when I first laid eyes on her. And here, directly to her inside, the number 12 Fairy Godmother for Ray Handel, who was able to capture a stake race in the Rick Violet yesterday, looks to get another victory here on the grass. And Fairy Godmother did not have the best of trips last time out, where I thought she ran a really strong race. And she didn't have the best of beginnings. It wasn't necessarily an outside force. It felt to me as if though she was kind of at her own peril in that situation. And she had an very impressive turn of foot late, and she ran behind Boston's Finest, who came back to beat the older boys in an allowance group. So she certainly has that to flatter her, hoping she can get a little bit better of a trip, because two back when she broke her maiden for $50,000, that was quite impressive. But when speaking to her trainer, Ray Handel, she can be a cantankerous sort, so just keep your eyes on her, as she hasn't been too over the top here in the paddock, but just one to kind of make sure she's settled and contained as she exits the paddock and heads to the racetrack. But quickly though, as far as the number 9, She's Artiz, another one that was just incredibly strong, and I felt as if Lafitte, her fitness test last time out, will set her up for a better effort getting the blinkers on.
Shaking off some rust. Megan, She's Artiz 11-1, circling back to Moonlight Ready, contender 7-2, a far cry from the price she was when she graduated Acacia, 37-1 downstate at Aqueduct.
Yeah, she was coming off of a layoff and getting onto the turf for the first time last time out. Definitely, if you like her today, the last time was the time. You'll have to take the worst of it with the price, as she's co-favorite at 7-2 now. But she took to the grass and she was forwardly placed as well, which I do think made a huge difference. Though she got a bit leg weary in the stretch. She was just able to hold on. I think kind of that big layoff showing in the stretch there.
Well, the good news is she was 1-6 last time. She's going 5.5 here, and like you said, Acacia, off the layoff, she should be a little bit more fit. So I think the shorter distance and more fitness is what's led me to almost use the love word. I like her a lot in here.
And you can tolerate the price.
Almost love.
Almost. Moonlight Ready. Can she go back to back? Light in experience. Just her third career start. Fairy Godmother, Tyler Gaffleone, and there she is. Her maiden win. 2 starts back, Jonathan, downstate in an authoritative performance here, drawing off and winning clear.
No, she was, but that was against lesser, in my opinion, than she's facing here today, and that would be the issue. I also didn't love her last race, and I am allergic to short price closers and turf sprints. There's only one horse that I've have always bet when they were as a closer in turf sprints, and that was Big Invasion. Outside of that, I'm allergic. Zyrtec,
is that a
Claritin,
Acacia is sitting
help.
right next to me thing, or
He
is
wants
that
me
like
to
an
say he's
accurate
dappled.
statement?
No, I do. Okay, there's 2 things can be true. I do want her to say that, but also I really did. That was the only late running turf sprinter that I could ever fall in love with was Big Invasion.
That's not true. You're a big Bobby's Kitten guy too.
I know, but I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought he was going to be forward in that turf sprint that he won, the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. He just happened to be last early. No, I'm allergic to closers in turf sprints, especially when they're short prices.
All right.
Few horses had a kick like Big Invasion did.
Foes parade shortly. This was, it was like watching last season's Jockey Club Gold Cup all over again. What took place earlier today before the stakes racing with Flavien Prat, when he wound up essentially straddled on two different horses being dislodged after winning the 7th race, Acacia, on Jack's World. What happened?
Well, he had told Maggie Wolfendale after the race that Jack's World was lugging in, so he had his weight shifted, and as a result, when the number 8 Sammy C-Note came alongside and kind of bumped him, he lost his balance, and I think his right foot was still kind of stuck into that stirrup. But I mean, props to both horses as well, especially Sammy C-Note, who's running at full speed, to not be so flipped out by the fact that there's an extra rider on his back, that all of his legs clear Flavien. Manny Franco was one of the first ones to come over and ask if Flavien was okay, and all the riders behind them who were able to avoid him at that pivotal moment.
One of, and by the way, maybe you're just joining us, it's possible, he's fine. Flavien Prat is fine, and one of the wildest things you will ever see in a horse race.
It's stuff like that even if I think a rider makes a mistake, I try not to say it out loud because they're risking their lives. I'm sitting here with you two.
Well said. Post parade. There's Juliet on approach.
And I don't think this horse can win.
Todd Hilltown, can she win?
Yes. I like the last race, but like I said, I don't like closers and turf sprints.
Moonlight ready, not the 37-1 she was last time.
She got a good figure for that last effort, was off of a layoff. She's 1-for-1 on the grass.
Tariga, Ricardo Santana in the saddle.
Long time since this horse won, and it was a wire-to-wire situation. I don't think this horse is good enough to wire this field.
Miss Jane Hathaway representing speed.
Check out her ears. She has tiny little ears. When she was a foal, they got burned due to frostbite, and obviously does not impact her as she runs.
Didn't have a reason to root. Vested interest, now you do. Then Dancing with Destiny, the 8 here in Vernon Valley, and Manny Franco.
I thought this filly was a little bit interesting. She was purchased for $70,000 at the digital sale. Had a bad start before her last stakes try.
She's Artiz.
Yeah, put some blinkers on. Is going to need to run a little bit better than she has been running recently. There is a few back races.
Fifi La Fume, there she is, Christopher Elliott.
She's had a lot of chances. She is just 1-for-21 and a deep closer.
More speed, honest reason, turf debut.
Very fast, but has not tried the turf, and there's no siblings that have tried the turf either.
Number 12, Fairy Godmother. You get 4-1 favorites in the Derby. The 4-1 favorite here, Flavien Prat, picks up the mount from a sideline/injured Tyler Gaffleon.
She's a lovely mover. She took to the turf 2 back when breaking her maiden. Bad trip, but I thought disappointed against better last time.
Oklahoma Smoke draws in.
I can't say anything nice about this horse. Hook 'em horns.
She's quick. Turf debut. A lot of speed on paper. On paper. As for Fairy Godmother, Acacia, what happened at the start of her last race?
Well, she was completely taken out of it. As you see her check back, have to shuffle. Dylan Davis was aboard that day, had to take up sharply. So she is now far back off the pace and left with a lot to do. She was stepping up off of a maiden claiming score against New York Breds when she broke her maiden, but she did it coming from off the pace that day as well. I wish that she would have had a little bit more kick, but she did have a significant excuse at the start in her most recent effort.
And that's Arad Ortiz who picks up the mount on Fairy Godmother. Rather productive afternoon for the 7-time Saratoga riding champion. 5 wins and a clean sweep of the graded stakes activity. To Megan Burgess.
And as you spoke on that projected early pace, Lafitte, the number 4, Moonlight Ready, could certainly be the quickest from the gates. That's what I anticipate. As last time out, it just seemed as if though she was caught up in far too fast of one at the 6 furlongs, and she just had no shot. But honestly, she was one that, she won that day, and she was up on that fast pace, and there was nobody else a part of that early pace with her at the end. I thought it was an incredibly impressive effort as she faces winners for the the first time and obviously clearly relished the surface switch back to the turf. I do take a little issue with just going through her DRF clocker report and just lacking energy. That did come on the dirt, so I can give her a little bit of credit for that. She looked fantastic. She's a little bottle of gel ignite, all-out turf sprinter. She's very well defined and fit as she's coming in second off of the bench, and I just think that she's going to be flat out fastest, and she could very well wire them in here. As far as the number 7, Dancing with Destiny, it seems as if though I've been dancing with her, trying to figure out where she's going to run. She was actually scratched back on July the 5th in the Monmouth County. That was a stake race. They've kind of been entering her and scratching her in multiple different places as she, again, the question for me is I don't find she's going to be quite as quick as a horse like the 4. We will see how Katie Davis plays it, and she might be compromised by getting entangled in an early pace where it seemed as if though she was able to control things when breaking through in her maiden, but she's been up against some tough competition, the likes of Boston's Finest, as we mentioned earlier, coming back to win. She ran second against last time out Lafitte, but I'm going to take a little bit of a shot ultimately here with the number 13, seeing if she can transition to the grass for the first time.
7-1 shot for Megan. Oklahoma Smoke. 13-1 shot for you, Acacia. Number 8 in Vernon Valley.
Yes, a small little try here with Vernon Valley, as she is a price. I think the favorites make a lot of sense, but as the board would suggest, this is a very wide open race. In Vernon Valley, while she is a tall and leggy individual, and I thought physically back as a 2-year-old looked like she could stretch out, she has that sprint demeanor in that she's so sharp, but her last 3 starts were all against Stakes Company. I know as a 2-year-old, but she comes back after being purchased for Riley Mott, and I think that she has some legitimate class to bring in here and never really had a chance to just run in a non-stake race on the grass.
Vernon Valley, Manny Franco. Jonathan, for you, Moonlight Ready, who is the lukewarm choice at 3-1.
Yeah, look, I love horses that are forward in turf sprints. I love the fact that this horse went 6 furlongs last time, gets to go 5.5 this time. I love the fact this is second off a long break. There's a lot of things to like about this horse. I'm getting 3-1. I understand this seems like a wide open race. It's odd. I know most people probably don't feel this way about turf sprints. My brain feels very confident in turf sprints sometimes. Because I just think that speed is just, it's such value in these types of races. And I think Moonlight Ready is one of those horses.
Who is in front when this field hits the far turn?
I hope it's Moonlight Ready.
All right, she is the quickest to the quick. We'll see how it all unfolds. 11 to 12 on a CCAO Saturday. Frank Miramati with a call.
We have a few more left to go in Lafitte, including Honest Reason. The gray filly, Miss Jane Hathaway, taking up her spot. The other gray right next to her is Dancing with Destiny for Mike Deeney. Fairy Godmother, Red Ortiz Jr. looking for a 6th spot. And Oklahoma Smoke. They're in the gate. And they're off. Dancing with Destiny is very quick, so is Toriga, as is Moonlight Ready along the inside, who scoots through to take second. They're followed by Honest Reason 4th, with about 3 lengths to make up. Joined at the rail by Miss Jane Hathaway, 2 lengths clear of Vernon Valley. Oklahoma Smoke is next, followed by Juliet on approach. Racing on the inside of She's Our Tiz as they round the far turn. Then it's a pretty big gap. Back to Tuttletown. Fifi La Fume is second to last, and a gap of 4 to Fairy Godmother. 21 and 2 for the opening quarter mile, and this is wide open, turning for home. Dancing with Destiny on the far outside. Oklahoma Smoke is finishing very nicely, and coming to tackle her, Toriga. They come to the 16th pole. Showing up late is Tuttletown from way out of the clouds. It is a head-and-head battle. On the outside, Oklahoma Smoke now spurts clear, has to hold off Tuttletown. Here it is, Oklahoma Smoke. Jose Ortiz gets another. Tuttletown, a hard-charging second, and Fairy Godmother was on the scene from last late.
All Ortiz all the time on this Saturday afternoon. It's Jose here with Oklahoma Smoke. in her turf debut. Well done, Megan. 7-1 in the end.
She was good. She was outside. She had tactical speed. She had been running on synthetic, and she had some nice races on synthetic. There was no real evidence that we knew she was going to love the grass as much as she did right here, but now we have it.
I will say, I love Honest Mischief sprinting on the grass. The stallion, and we've talked about it kind of with some of the New York bred stakes, maybe not stretching out so much, but Kevin Rice, Adam Rice, they've had a few Honest Mischiefs as well, bringing here to the NYRA circuit. And as a stallion standing here in New York, sprinting on the grass seems to be what they love to do.
Noted. Charlatan,
Charlatan, turf
Mischief.
sprinters, Honest Mischief, turf
We're catching
sprinters.
on.
Yeah.
We're catching on. Oklahoma Smoke, Jose Ortiz denied on Always a Runner in the CCA Oaks, but comes right back, delivers a winning ride here. 13-3, 12-7. Oklahoma Smoke, first time on a new surface and bang, right to the winner's circle.
Nice and easy. It's an easy game, at least to Jose Ortiz it
For
is.
Megan, it was in this case. 7-1 winner. New York Final Furlong Racing Stable. Congrats, winning owners. Adam Rice, winning trainer. Jose Ortiz here. Big afternoon, just not the biggest of wins on this coaching club. American Oaks Saturday. 7-1 Oklahoma Smoke. Results and much more as we wind things down on this Saturday at the Spa. And the Sunday program, more stakes racing coming your way. Honorable Miss tomorrow afternoon. Female sprinters, $250,000 purse. Grand job for Hall of Famer Bill Mott and the Sovereignty team, Junior Alvarado. That's tomorrow.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. NYRA Bets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Charlatan is the leading second crop sire by percent graded stakes winners and percent graded stakes horses. He is one of the leading Kentucky sires by percent stakes winners to starters.
Right to win the Wonder again. Charlatan, ultra impressive.
It's a new day for a new king.
Gratefully, and Saratoga Special, nose and nose for the wire. Gratefully, Saratoga Special, gratefully, would not be denied.
Welcome to Adelphi Racing Club's unparalleled partnership experience. Exclusive access to the backstretch at Belmont and Saratoga, premier accommodations on race day, and of course, experience excitement like no other. Contact us today and come hang with us this Saratoga meet.
Welcome back. Saratoga Live on FS2, brought to you in part by Gainesway. Power, passion, performance. Also sponsored Card Talk. One of the best. 6 years you've been doing Card Talk now. One of the best this past episode.
Shout out Acacia for helping.
Your A-list friends, man.
Honestly,
A-list friends.
it's funny. Her husband Miguel had some unbelievable one-liners, but he wasn't mic'd up, so they didn't make it.
They weren't PG either.
All the better.
He was asked about France in the World Cup.
All the better. As we pick up the action, turning for home towards the outside, fan wide occasion. Oklahoma Smoke still now accelerates. This is her first try on grass.
Yeah, you're going to see her switch back to her inside left lead right there, which sometimes horses when they're trying, and especially when they're on a new surface, then she's going to go right back to that right on the outside. You'll see them kind of swapping leads as they're searching for some more energy there in the stretch, and that's exactly what she did. But she finished really nicely. She had a little bit of turf and synthetic on her bottom side pedigree. Ionish Mischief, as we talked about, and Jose Ortiz won 3. Irad won 5 out of 11 races. It's pretty remarkable.
It's good to be in Ortiz at Saratoga. To Megan in the winner's circle.
And it's all in the family in this one. Jose Ortiz, the brother-in-law of course, Adam Rice. And you mentioned your nephew's getting a little too heavy to carry him around everywhere, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it, though. We're going to keep winning, and we may as well bring him in a picture with us until we can't.
Exactly, but Oklahoma Smoke, wow, was she impressive, not just physically, but she was wide the entirety of this race, and she found a new gear rating off the pace.
Yeah, I trust Jose to understand that she was fast if need be, but he kind of saw that I don't think he needed to be there, and she's a good filly, and she gives it to us. I thought we could do that at Presque Isle, and we did it today, which is good, so treated us.
You send the right horses to Saratoga. They always seem to run, but what's the process of getting a horse out of a barn like Jorge Abreu and still continuing on and developing these kinds?
I think he does a great job. I think they were just looking for a place for her to succeed at Presque Isle, and we got her back off of that and just keeping her good. And I think it was a race going issue. I think we just couldn't get in the right spot. They couldn't. And so they sent her over there, and we just happened to get lucky. And I shipped her up here with my brother, wishful thinking that we'd draw in, and we did, and it was blessed. So
Congratulations here.
thank you.
You gotta hit the board back on the 19th, gets in the winner's circle for the Rice family.
It has to be so gratifying, Acacia, a trainer trying something new and seeing it all come together. And hey, this worked, and you have another pathway forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It really opens up a lot of options, especially being a New York bred as well. As we saw this horse on the synthetic last time, as he said, this is kind of what they thought this horse would do when getting onto synthetic, as she was impressive at Presque Isle 2 starts back, though, against Lesser. I do find that the Presque Isle synthetic is one of the most similar playing to turf, so sometimes can be a little bit of a good read.
So, like, not all synthetics naturally created the same. Some very different in how they relate to grass and horses' performance connecting the dots. One left. Maiden claimer of the $50,000 variety. 10 of them here. And Leave Me, Jonathan, number 7, 2-1. And there goes that man again, Gerardo Ortiz, looking to become the 3rd jockey ever in the history of Saratoga to win 6 races in a single program.
The guy's unbelievable. And this is my new trick right here with this chair. To put these things up like this and relax. You see this?
Wait, at least you didn't shrink down again.
Like somebody got me on Twitter so good.
Like,
with that picture.
Honey, I Shrunk my co-host.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this chair is broken. I fixed it, but it's going to fall again, I'm sure.
If only they could see how many pillows you have underneath.
I know, it's unbelievable. Why are they doing this to me?
25 minutes, man. 25 minutes. That's all we need from the middle chair. Tomorrow, more sprint racing. It's a key prep, the prep, leading up to the Grade 1 Ballerina, the Honorable Miss, and 7 strong. Grand Job 1-2, and this is a big part of the reason why, Jonathan. One of the most exciting races all year, certainly at Belmont Week at Saratoga. Grand Job and Ways and Means toe-to-toe in the Bed of Roses.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable race, and shout out David Aragona, our morning line maker, for making the horse 1-2. So many people don't do that. The horse is going to be 1-2. Make the horse 1-2. Look, she's going to be so hard to beat tomorrow. I guess Brittany Russell's horse on the inside, the 1, is the only one that I can even like halfway come up with a story about. Maida. Acacia, I always defer to you on the pronunciations. So you do all your homework. I don't. Grand Jobs would be very tough to beat.
I didn't have time to watch the replay with sound coming into today, I will admit. But as far as Grand Job is concerned, she's a bit of a quirky type. If you ever come to the Oklahoma training track in the mornings and you see her training, she stands on the track until every single horse is off, because otherwise, even if she's just galloping by herself, she will try to race another horse that's out there on the track. So Neil Posnanski, Belmont's assistant, rides her every morning, brings her out, and she just stands there and watches everybody go until the track is clear, and then she goes out and does what she needs to do.
You don't think like horses or athletes, right, as competitive as they are, how they're trying to beat each other? The perfect example. Honorable Miss tomorrow afternoon, the Sunday feature, and then eventually, of course, every year the centerpiece of racing at Saratoga, the DraftKings Travers, and the 3-year-olds with right now Golden Tempo, clear-cut leader in the division with the win of the Kentucky Derby, the win of the Belmont Stakes. But Chief Wallaby, Acacia, in the Curlin on Wednesday, presented by Casa Amigos, Chief Wallaby, odds-on favorite 4-5 on the morning line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I liked him a bit going into the Belmont Stakes, and he's kind of going back to basics, going to the Curlin instead of a race like the Jim Dandy, kind of a prep for horses that are eligible, have not won a big race like a Jim Dandy or like some of the other winter 3-year-old preps that some of the others have. Chief Wallaby's kind of been one of those horses that's been knocking at the door. So this is a great opportunity for him to get a little bit of class relief, get a confidence booster. I'm still not 100% sold he wants to go the full mile and a quarter of the Travers and wants to go that long. We'll see what happens in the Curlin. Maybe his class will prevail in there, but I do think it will be a sign where we'll get a chance to see, does this make Belmont want to shorten him up a bit?
As the distances get longer for Chief Wallaby, he runs slower. He's been doing that consistently.
Good.
I think I agree with Acacia. I think let's see what happens, but I think he wants to go shorter.
That's on Wednesday in the Curlin. Of course, right back at it next Saturday, Fox Saratoga Saturday. It is the biggest race, best horses all summer long, and the schedule, the rundown, the prep for the DraftKings at Travers. The Jim Dandy presented by Mohegan Sun next Saturday. The Whitney, circle that one on your calendar. Christophe Clement Turf, Alabama presented by Keeneland Sales, and the DraftKings Travers, the final Saturday in August. Horses in the paddock. One final time on this Saturday afternoon. New York Breds. Mile and the 16th on the inner turf course, and Jersey Guy. See what he does in the opener tomorrow with another full slate of racing coming your way. You see it all right here on Saratoga Live. We'll be right back.
What if you didn't just watch horse racing, but own the moment? With Bond Racing Stable, you can experience the thrill of ownership without the full cost or commitment. It's easy in a racing partnership with Bond Racing Stable. They do all the work while you get access to the backstretch, morning workouts, the paddock, and the winner's circle. Whether you're new to racing or a lifelong fan, Bond Racing Stable makes it easy to get in the game. Don't just bet on the race, get in the winner's circle. Contact Bond Racing Stable and ask about a racing partnership today.
All right, Mel, tell us a little bit about Jersey Guy. First of all, though, I want to talk about your relationship with Bill Parcells, and he's been one of your big supporters from an ownership standpoint when you first started training.
Yeah, you know, he's really kind of become like my second father more than anything. I mean, he's given me a lot of life advice, you know, business advice, and he's been obviously very supportive in me starting.
Did he come up with the name Jersey Guy?
He's a Jersey guy.
I would assume maybe, Mel, that we're gonna see Jersey Guy show a bit of speed based upon what we see from this breeze.
Yeah, I mean, again, the plan was because of the auction eligibility, we were gonna run him 5.5, so I threw some blinkers on just to wake him up a little bit, and it for sure woke him up. You know, he's a horse that doesn't need them. You know, we'll be running him with the blinkers off.
Okay.
Just because now we're going 1 mile and a 16th, but he's rateable, he's tactical. You can, you know, he's whatever you want him to be, but you know, given we're not going 5.5 anymore, we're definitely taking those off, but he'll go all day. He actually has come a long way too. You know, the sale babies, it's hard for them, so he mentally was that nervous, kind of jacked up type of horse. And it impressed me a lot to see him completely go the other way. I mean, he's cool, calm, collected, and he's just nice. I hope he turns out to be somebody.
Who will he turn out to be? Jersey Guy, his debut tomorrow. Do not miss this one. Race number 1, 2-year-olds, mile and a 16th on grass. Acacia, what's the word on the backstretch about some of these fresh faces in tomorrow's first races, 2-year-olds?
Yeah, it's always exciting, especially as you see a big field like we have tomorrow as well, going long on the turf. Jersey Guys in training sharp, as you saw. I saw Le Patron, the number 5, first-time starter for Beaumont at the farm, and he seems to be a horse with a lot of quality as well. And then you have Wesley Ward with a $1 million Son of Constitution, who was a really exciting horse at the Keeneland yearling sale. Astounding stat for Wesley Ward that we talked about with 2-year-olds at firsters, though. I would have thought it was 1 to 9 that he would have had a lot more success with them here.
Unreal.
Yeah, and the high official, the pedigree on that horse, not this time out of Sweet Melania, was a good horse for the lows. Looks like it might be a war.
Yeah.
Again, that is the first race. Don't miss it. 2-year-olds on grass to kick off the Sunday program. We'll have it all for you right here on Saratoga Live. Coming up next is nightcap in about 13 minutes. Race number 12, New York Breds, $50,000 claimers live. Look in the paddock. Jake, hey, who takes down the nightcap?
Well, Lafitte, if I told you now, then I wouldn't have anything else to say later. No, I think that you know, I'm rooting for Big Fat Goalie. Just so I can tell the story about why
there, right?
Jay Provenzano named the horse Big Fat Goalie. But I do think some of the horses with experience, you know, Leave Me obviously deserves to be the favorite in here. But I think there's some other horses. I'm going to pick the 10 Photo to the outside with Ricardo Santana. I just think that those last 3 races are a little bit better than they look on paper. I know the horse only hit the board 1 time in those races, but I think those are sneaky good races.
Speaking of photos, you're looking at Lobbyist and 2 starts back, Acacia, in a near miss from far back, launches and denied a nose and a monster price.
He was 35 to 1 this day. He ran huge. He was a horse I'd actually written down in my notes. Looks like he wants to go longer when we saw him sprinting back in May, and he appreciated the stretch out in distance. He came closing in the top 3. We're very tight, all in there together, as you can see. He's on the outside, but he really hung in there. The winner comes from between horses, and Blame It on KJ. I can understand running so well and with a good figure. You try special weight company after that. I think he's just going back to reality today.
Lobbyist. There's Big Fat Goalie. First time starter 10 to 1 to Megan. Standing by in the paddock.
And the number 2, Big Fat Goalie, wants all of the route game that he is going to get here on debut for trainer Rob Falcone Jr. and has been training in the mornings with an unraced horse by the name of Extravagant. And while that horse has not been tested, just been going much better in the morning at least. And one that, as I mentioned, just massive in size, huge. Not much pedigree to be found. The dam was a maiden, 1/2 to 2 to race, kind of those more minor, cheaper winners. And albeit the sire and Independence Hall. Just 10% with those three-year-olds and older, those first-time starters. But just speaking to Rob about this horse, just in the mornings, trying to get this horse out of the gate has been the key. But he's been incredibly sharp in the paddock. So if he can break, I do anticipate him here on debut to be a forwardly placed sort. The number 3, Follow Will for Adrian DeVoe, also to me is going to be right there on that early pace, second off of a considerable layoff after debuting sprinting, and surely wants this ground second off of the bench, dropping down in class for maiden special company, and is going to be a bigger price. This turf course is firm. This horse could very well be the fastest out of there, and Chris Elliott wiring the field at a big price in a stake race this week. So certainly not out of the question, though we'll have to obviously improve. The number 4, Gilbane, is absolutely tiny. As I've described some more route types, he's the opposite. But the Slumber progeny here in the U.S. have done very well for themselves. Prevalent, 19% strike rate with those turf routers. And this horse is fit, though does contend with a 254-day layoff, was gelded during that time frame. And he can be a keener sort. He's a little bit cantankerous, likes to kind of lose his balance there a little bit. But I'm hoping at Lafitte that he can kind of show some more continuity in his races and develop a little bit more mentally coming off the bench.
Settled now. 3-year-old debut, 7-1 if you like him. Photo, who you touched on. Jonathan, currently 8-1. Ricardo Santana, 2 rides. Seems like a long time ago we watched Ricardo take down the first race on this CCA Oaks program.
Yeah, you know, the one thing about this horse is, they're drawn towards the outside, but you get Ricardo, who's got a horse with some tactical speed. And I think the one thing that can prevent you from getting hung out wide in a race like this is an aggressive ride, a rider that's going to be forward, and a horse that has the ability to be forward. It's almost guaranteed that Ricardo will get himself into the 2 or the 3 path because he has a horse that he can kind of use a little bit to get position.
If others have tactical speed as well, though, and they all wind up in the same place at the same time, he could still wind up getting fanned wide and losing precious ground.
It can happen, but it's less likely to happen with a horse that is a little bit more agile early in the race.
Photo. And why Acacia is, Leave Me, such an overwhelming favorite at 8-5.
Because he's dropping in class for the first time, and I don't think that it hurts.
Could have something to do with him.
Horacio de Paz has been off to a fantastic start here, especially with 2-year-olds as well. You know, it's interesting. He and the number 9, Kuliana, come out of the same race, and while Kuliana finished more further back in that race, I actually thought that there's a huge price disparity between the two of them, and I thought Kuliana at 9-1 was a little bit more appealing, especially because he's now second off the layoff. But Leave Me is kind of one of those horses, but then knocking at the door, and Irad looking for 6, and maybe this is the place to do it.
I see, decades and decades and decades of history of racing and the great legendary jockeys who have ridden here, Jonathan, trying to be just the 3rd ever, joining the likes of John Velasquez, who holds every record here at Saratoga for a rider, and Ramon Dominguez, who did it twice, trying to become the 3rd rider ever to win 6-1 program.
Yeah, it's hard. Look, I always joke, I get to pick any horse I want, and it's hard to pick 6 winners. These guys, they get assigned to their horses, to a certain extent, and they win 6 races in one day. How does this happen? It's we're very lucky here. I said it earlier in the show, or maybe it was the other day, that when I look at other places sometimes, I like a horse and I look at the rider and I'm like, oh, geez. That never happens to me here. If I like a horse and I look at the rider, it's typically someone I feel very comfortable with.
And when he gets in one of these zones, Acacia, he'll go on a run. Well, he'll win 13 races in 3 days, where every button he pushes is the right one. It's like an Arad avalanche.
It's a good way to put it. He is. And look, he had some space to catch up for his brother here, especially because he missed the first few days of the meet. There's his mount, Leave Me, who's very sharp. He has an iron halter on, which Horacio de Paz actually uses with several of his other runners, including 26 Black, who's a very talented turf sprinter. You see that piece of metal kind of around the nose, and the idea of that is that the metal helps to settle a horse that's really on edge, which obviously Leave Me is.
Not an afternoon he'll forget anytime soon. Arad Ortiz, and not done yet. Looking to make history, looking to join legendary riders Ramon Dominguez, John Velasquez as the only riders to win 6 in the program at Saratoga. That's next.
16-2, a big black colt. He's a horse that is built for speed. With Practical Joke, it really is a case of like father, like son.
It's domestic product kicking clear and opening up here in the stretch.
When he ran that speed figure of 106, we were under no illusions that we had a very exciting prospect on our hands.
Domestic product just in front. Domestic product.
When you see horses like that who are capable of replicating the success of their fathers, that have the look that domestic product does, it gives you great confidence.
Monmouth Park summer season rolls on with live racing action every Friday to Sunday. Monmouth's 2026 season proudly features a low player friendly 15% takeout on all daily doubles and pick threes. Play our new $3 late pick three and $5 late double. First race 2 p.m. Fridays, 12:50 p.m. weekends. Get in on the action at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
Get with the New York Bred program that supports farms across the state and puts more babies on the ground. The program that lets your New York Bred race against other New York Breds on the same tracks where Manor War won the Travers and Secretariat completed the Triple Crown in the Belmont Stakes, but at a beautiful new facility offering the new Empire Trillium Series. Get with a program that respects thoroughbreds from the foaling farm to the starting gate to the second career.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
For today at the Spa, Saratoga Live, as always, brought to you by Mohegan Sun. All in on Mohegan. These maidens warming up, New York Breds. Let's meet the field moments ago as they hit the front side. And start with a Dingy Bar. 7 race maiden in the money in 4 of those.
Yeah, it's been going, the last time with the mile was stretching out last time. I thought the horse ran okay, but I think this is a tough spot for this one.
You going to get the story in on the first-time starter, big fat goalie?
Yeah, rooting for this one just so we can hear the story. Debuting at 10-1 for Rob Falcone Jr.
Flavia and Pratt aboard. Follow Will, pictured at 22-1.
Yeah, 33-1, 22-1, and the first 2 starts, neither one of those was very good.
Gilbane contender, Manny Franco aboard, just arriving on the scene.
See if the gelding will help with a bit of focus, as Megan had touched on in his race. He's not really a type of horse, at least thus far, that has really been completely clued in.
Sophomore debut, still laid back by slumber. Gilbane, then Lavius, who just missed at a monster price 2 starts back.
Yeah, was trying to close into a slow pace. I always like horses that are trying to do that. I think that it's a hidden trip.
Drayden, second career start.
Stretching out in distance for the first time. He's a generous price, but at least he's lightly raced. He took no money at first asking.
And the favorite, Leave Me, 7-5, 2 minutes out.
Yeah, you got Irad Ortiz looking for a 6th win on the day. You have Horacio De Paz, who's been on fire so far in this meet.
Terrific start to the summer meet. Then Zip for Rick would be a shock.
He would be, but to be fair, he's never run in a maiden claiming race on the turf before.
Juliana, Junior Alvarado, 8-1 currently.
Didn't like the horse's last race. Liked the 2 races prior to that. Is getting Lasix.
And photo, Ricardo Santana seeking a 2nd in the afternoon.
I think he's best when he uses his speed. He gets in against New York Breds once again. Yet while, yes, he technically was running for a lower claiming tag last time, it was against Open Company.
His New York Bred maidens warming up. I'll cross over to the turf course momentarily as we check in with Megan trackside.
And I do have some cause for pause with the current favorite in the number 7, Leave Me, for Horacio de Paz. I'm sure you could observe it there on the desk. He was a little bit out of sorts, getting tacked with the pony, incredibly sharp. A horse that hasn't been the outright controlling leader, but he's just been bubbling over in a way that has not been, to me, is not positive at recommending him at 3-2 in a race that I thought was far more wide open. As he continued that way, as you'll see, they are adjusting the tack on the number 8 there at a big price. But as far as the number 7, Leave Me, I can understand why Horacio wanted to drop this horse in class, just judging from his finish, as he got a better trip. I mean, you could say it was a better trip than his May the 16th race, and he just did not have that killer instinct late. And I think that also goes to show mentally might not quite be there all the way, but he is gelded, so there's no, that's not an excuse for him. He certainly strides out. He wants every inch of ground. He's just vulnerable at a short price in here mentally. I wholeheartedly agree with Acacia as far as the number 9 being sort of the overlay in this race. He looked best. He's second off of the layoff. He's got that recency edge. Yes, he failed to menace when he was up on a slower pace, but I think this horse genuinely could probably use the target. He's going to get some speed to run at. Very strong. To me, just physically, Lafitte, the most complete package, and certainly looks in prime position. Hopefully get the right kind of trip at a price for a dangerous barn.
Megan had a 7-1 winner in the 11th, trying to close the show with a victory. We just saw the gate. We just saw the rails being out, Acacia. How much does that impact you as a handicapper when you look at these races?
I do think you have to take it into consideration, especially as to how the pace might potentially play out on the inner turf. I think JK's point is well taken, especially for a horse that is drawn to the outside and the benefit of having some tactical speed and being able to get position. I don't probably read into it as much as some others, as we do have a late scratch of the number 1 Dingy Bar after warming up. Does not take any of that early pace out, the late scratch there. But I do think that position is so important.
As Acacia mentioned, doesn't change anything in terms of race complexion. Dingy Bar out, a late scratch before this 12th and final at Saratoga. Those rails being out, Jonathan, that kind of works against your top selection a little bit here. Photo?
Yeah, yes, theoretically, I see what you're saying. But for me, like I said, when I have a horse who has tactical speed outside, it doesn't bother me as much because I believe, especially with an aggressive rider like Ricardo, he's going to get position. I feel very confident in that. I mean, obviously, things happen. It's a horse race. But I do think that a horse like that with a rider like him, they should be able to get position moving forward.
Ricardo Santana started the day's activity with a victory. Now aboard Photo, trying to close out the CCA Oaks Saturday with a win. We're going to get the story?
Oh, yeah. So Jay Provenzano texted me.
Big fat goalie, the first time starter, number 2.
He told me that he's got 2 friends that were ex-college athletes, and they blew up. Big guys. He said so big you wouldn't even believe they were ex-athletes. And he started calling them big fat goalies.
It's subtle.
Yeah, but he said he'll text me their names later, but he doesn't want to say it on.
Probably a good idea, Jay. Probably a good idea.
That's awesome. I took a shot with the 9. He's a second-time gelding, by the way, and so I do think second off the layoff, we're going to see a better performance from Juliana.
Getting 6-1 on him. Juliana, one final time. Frank Miramati with the call, the nightcap. Live on FS2 from the Spa.
First 4 have gone into the gate. Follow Will. Going up. Here's Lobbyist. Juliana. Photo. They're in the gate. And they're off. Follow Will. Gilbane came away in the top flight, a joint second, joined by Drayden, who's in the mix, and Photo on the far outside sprints up to take second. Juliana settles in 5th, followed by Zip for Rick, who's on the outside of Lobbyist. Leave Me is the gray, about 8 lengths off the lead, and Big Fat Goalie, who is off slowly, is the trailer. They round the clubhouse turn and Follow Will shows the way. Leads it by a length and a half. Photo is in second. At the rail comes Gilbane third. Kuliana is in between horses. That quarter went in 24 seconds flat. Zip for Rick is racing in the fifth spot while 3 wide. Drayden inches up on the inside of Lobbyist. Those two stride for stride. Leave Me is patiently handled in the early going. And 5 to Big Fat Goalie. 48-4 for Follow Will into the far turn. With Photo pursuing him the whole way, 3/4 of a length back in second. Then it's Gilbane, Kuliana still third and fourth. Zip for Rick is outside of that pair. Has 4 lengths to make up as the field moves into the far turn. And now, Leave Me is getting going. And Leave Me cut loose in the black and white cap on the outside of Lobbyist as the field turns for home. Photo takes the lead through 3/4 in 1:13 flat. Gilbane pounces though, and Gilbane is the new leader. Will have to hold off Leave Me late. And it is Gilbane full of run, 2-length lead. Leave Me grinding away, trying to get there right on the money. Leave Me within a neck, within a head and head for the wire. And Leave Me 6 for Arad Ortiz. What a legendary performance at the Spa. Gilbane almost denied him. It was a long way back to a Photo for third.
More history. History made. Achieved at Saratoga. Arad Ortiz, third jockey ever to win 6 races in a single program. It wasn't pretty, but it's a win. Leave Me emerging victorious in the nightcap.
Look, I wasn't lucky enough to see Angel Cordero ride, who a lot of people will call the greatest of all time. I saw the back end. I'm seeing the back end of Johnny Velasquez's career. I am so grateful that I get to watch Arad Ortiz. He is sensational.
Remarkable. The history that he accomplished today, not only with 6 victories, but winning both of the graded stakes on the card as well. When I worked down at Gulfstream Park, I saw him do 7 in a day, tying the record down there. But to do it at a place like Saratoga on a Saturday, not a weekday, with graded stakes, with the company, and all different types of races, surface, distance, etc.
They're not
It's
5
just
and 6
incredible.
horse fields, and him being on odds-on favorites race after race after race, as competitive as it gets. And by the way, Leave Me doesn't look like he's a lot of fun to ride, Acacia.
No, he looks awful to ride, to be honest. He was hanging on that left lead, and finally he switched late, which was really the reason that he was able to run down Gilbane.
Horacio de Paz, another one at Saratoga. Terrific start for the trainer from Texas, Central West Texas. Leave Me. What else did you see? The winner clip. What else did you see? What else was going on the stretch as the field came off the far turn?
The 4, Gilbane, did come in a little bit. I wonder if they'll look at it because the horse was second. If the horse won, I think they certainly would have looked at it with the 4. And
there it is.
There's Frank right there.
There it is. Frank Miramati announcing.
It does involve the second place finisher, number 4,
Inquiry
Gilbane,
involving
number
the
3,
second place
Follow Will,
finisher.
and number 10, Photo.
Gilbane.
And involving the 3 and 10 as well. The 3 and 10, according to Frank. Yeah. So the 4 Gilbane comes over and squeezes and does not affect the winner.
Winner not impacted. We'll show you a replay as soon as it's available. Second and fourth place finishers now flashing with Gilbane, number 4, and number 3, Follow Will, the fourth place finisher. Again, it does not involve the winner, Leave Me, who was wide and clear of all the traffic. Acacia, take a look here, top of the stretch.
Yeah, you're going to see the number 4, Gilbane, in the light blue cap there. He's going to come in pretty significantly. The 10 Photo took the worst of it, being squeezed back at this point. I'm not sure exactly. I think the 3 was just a little bit of, he was there and he kind of got bumped by virtue of the 4 coming in, but the 10 Photo really took the worst of it.
Clearly initiating the contact.
Yeah, my new thing I'm going to do is just start calling it immediately what I think. I think the 4 is going to be disqualified. I'm just starting, and we speculate for 15 minutes sometimes. And I usually
Do you find that your opinion starts to change? Like you're seeing ghosts out there, you're seeing things
Yeah,
aren't really happening?
Well, I think the longer it goes on, you start to get a clue. So I want to just go off of my initial instinct. I think the 4 potentially could come down.
For the result, head on over to NyraBets.com as we are going to step aside. And what an incredible Saturday of racing here at Saratoga. Again, so the stewards will have a decision not before we say goodbye. Head on over to NyraBets.com for the decision and the official results of the 12th and final at the Spa. Historic day at Saratoga where Rod Ortiz just won his 6th race, joining no rollout. Got it. No rollout.
No change. Result stands as posted, 7-4-9-3.